Good morning to everyone. Today I am finding the problem based on an analytic function. So determination of analytic function by using Milne-Thomson method. Find the analytic function using in Milne-Thomson method. There are two types. One is real part is given. In first one is if real part is given. So that is u is given. So in second one is imaginary part is given. That is v is given. First explain how to find if real part is given. So in the first step you find the real part is given means differentiation with respect to of a x and y. So ux and uy. So ux and uy nothing but in ordinary usual notation is dou u by dou x and dou u divided by of a dou y. Using shortcut notation u suffix x and u suffix y, or you use it that notation, common notation, dou u divided by dou x, dou u divided by of a dou y. In a second step, at the point ux of z comma of a 0 and uy of z comma of 0. So that is the meaning is you find the ux and uy no at the point z comma 0, x replaced by z, y replaced by of a 0. This is you find the next step. In the final step you construct the analytic function, you find the f of z. That f of z is nothing but integral of f dash of z into of a dz is equal to integral of uy of z comma 0 dz minus of I into uy of ux of z comma 0 ux of z comma 0 dz minus of I into uy of z comma 0 dz plus c. Same thing in imaginary part also. V is given in a first step is partially differentiation with respect to of a x, differentiation with respect to of a y. In imaginary part means Vx and a Vy. Again the second step is at the point z comma 0. So Vx of z comma 0, Vy of a z comma 0. Only the difference is you using the formula f of z. Now f of z in a real part ux of z comma 0, uy of z comma 0. But in a imaginary part means first one is f of z is equal to integral of vy of z comma 0 dz plus I into integral of vx of z comma 0 into of dz plus constant is c. Now problem based on in both the method, both the real part and the imaginary part. There are three different type of question. One is direct question, real part is given. Another one is the imaginary part is given. So for example, the question is u is equal to 3x squared y plus of y plus x squared sum, or in terms of a trigonometric. Another one is v is equal to e power x into of a cos y. So you know that is u is a real part and v is a imaginary part. Few question in the form of u plus v or u minus of v or 2u plus of v or u plus of a 2v or 3u something etc. So only three type of problem. One is direct question, either real part is given or imaginary part is given. Few question combined in a u and a v. So that time you identify in a which one is given real part and a imaginary part. So first I explain in a basic method. After that I explain in a one problem based on u plus v or u minus v. So the first question is find the analytic function. Find the analytic function f of z is equal to u plus of iv, given that u is equal to e power x, x into cos y minus of y into sin y. Minus of y into sin y. So u is a real part, no? So real solution, the real part is given by applying in a Milne-Thomson method. Today only consider the problem based on Milne-Thomson method. So u is equal to e power x, x cos y minus of y into sin y. In a first process is partially differentiation with respect to of a x. So dou u by dou x or ux, dou u by dou x. Are all of you familiar that notation? No, that's why here I mentioned this dou u by dou x. But my convenient purpose I choose in ux. So ux partially differentiation with respect to of x. So apply the uv rule. Y means including here e power x, another term also in terms of a x. No. So now the treated as this one is constant. So e power x differentiation. E power x differentiation is e power x into x cos y minus of y into sin y plus again e power x treated as constant, second term's differentiation, plus e power x, x is 1, cos y is treated as constant, 1 into of a cos y. In second part is there is no x term and the differentiation of a constant is 0. So this is the ux is equal to e power x, x cos y minus y sin y plus e power x cos y. The second one is dou u divided by of a dou y or uy. Now the partially differentiation with respect to of a y. So there is no y term, no. So this is a constant e power x. Only the remaining is differentiation. X into cos y differentiation minus of sin y. Y 1 into sin y minus of y into sin y differentiation in a cos y. So e power x minus of x into sin y minus of sin y minus of sin y minus of y into cos y. This is the first step of the process, finding Milne-Thomson method. So in the second step, at the particular point z comma 0, now u x of z comma of a 0. X replaced by z, no. So e power z into z, y replaced by 0, cos 0 is 1. So z minus y is 0, sin 0 is 0, again next one is 0. Close the bracket now, plus e power z, 1 into cos y, y also 0 is 1. So z into e power z plus e power z is equal to 1 plus z e power z. So ux of z comma 0 value is 1 plus z e power z. Same thing you find the next one, uy of z comma of a 0. E power z, no, e power z minus of z sin 0, here also sin 0, cos 0, cos sin 0 is 0, sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1, but here y is 0, so all the terms 0, minus of 0, minus of 0. So answer is e power of z. Next we find the f of z. So f of z is equal to integral of ux of z comma 0 dz plus minus I into uy of z comma 0 dz plus c, constant. Sorry, here is 0 ma. C equal to 0, no, z into 0 is 0, so e power z into 0, 0. So ux of z comma 0 is 1 plus integral of 1 plus z into e power z dz. Uy is 0 plus of a c. So 1 plus z e power z dz. Integration with respect to of a dz. You apply the udv formula. udv equal to uv minus of integral of v du. You know product term, no? So one is u, another one is the v. So u is equal to 1 plus of z. dv is e power z into of a z. u is differentiation, dv is integration. So du is equal to of a dz. Here we know integration e power of z. Formula is uv. So uv is 1 plus z e power z minus of integral of v du. v is e power z dz. e power z dz. So 1 plus z e power z. e power z dz integration is e power z minus of e power z. So 1 into e power z, now e power z plus z into e power z minus of e power z. So that is equal to z into e power of z. So therefore f of z is equal to z e power z plus c. So that problem based on real part is given. Next one more problem in direct question, imaginary part is given. Same trigonometric type of question. Second question is direct question in a imaginary part is given. V is equal to e power minus x cos y plus y into sin y. So in a first one is a partially differentiation with respect to of a x, no? e power minus x. e power minus x means differentiation is e power minus x. Again that minus x differentiation is minus 1. So minus e power minus x cos y plus y into sin y plus e power minus x differentiation with respect to x, no, x is 1 into cos y. In second term there is no x term, answer is 0. Vy partially differentiation with respect to of a y. So e power minus x cos y differentiation is minus of sin y plus 1 into sin y plus y into sin y differentiation cos y. Next you find the Vx of z comma of a 0. So, minus of e power minus z cos 0 is 1 y 0, so sin 0 also is 0 plus e power minus z 1 into cos y, no, cos 0 is 1. So answer is 1 minus z into of a e power of minus of z. Next Vy at the point z comma of a 0. So e power of minus z, no, e power minus z, but sin 0 is 0, sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1, but y into this means again this 0. So Vy of z comma 0 equal to 0. Imaginary part, no, that is the formula is f of z is equal to integral of Vy of z comma 0 dz plus I into integral of Vx of z comma 0 into dz plus c. So important note in a real and imaginary part means, in a real part means in first one is ux, but in imaginary part is Vy. So you concentrate that formula this part. So next one is here a minus of in a real part question, but here in a positive sign. So in this question Vy is 0, only Vx of z comma 0. This value is 0 plus I into integral of 1 minus z e power minus z dz plus c. Same thing, no, previous question 1 plus z e power z, that is here I replaced by 1 minus z e power minus z. Again use the same previous question formula, integral of u dv equal to uv minus of v du. One changes is u replaced by 1 minus of z. So u replaced by 1 minus of z. So du is equal to minus of dz. dv is equal to e power minus z dz. What is v? v integration minus of e power of minus z. uv, so 1 minus of z minus of e power minus z minus of integral of v du. So here also minus, this also minus, minus into minus plus, so e power minus z into dz. So minus of e power minus z, minus into minus plus, plus z into e power of minus z. This integration, no, e power minus z, integral of e power minus z dz integration is e power minus z minus 1. Already here minus is there, so plus e power of minus z. We cancel these two terms, only z into e power of minus z. Here I substitute the value is z into e power minus z. So therefore, f of z is equal to I into z e power minus z plus of a c. The first two question in direct question. The third question in terms of u minus v. So in third question is u minus of v is equal to e power x cos y minus of sin y. Here I combine both the real and imaginary part now. So question is find the analytic function f of z. So here f of z already known, that is f of z is equal to u plus of a iv. So that is in equation number 1. So in equation number 1 you multiply by f of I. So this is I into f of z is equal to I into u, I square now minus 1, that is v, equation number 2. Now adding equation 1 and 2, 1 plus of a 2. F of z, left side is plus I, now I into f of z is equal to u plus iv plus iu minus of v. Addition based on question, some question subtraction also is there, 1 minus 2. Here u minus of v, u minus of v plus I into u plus v. So now you check in your question u minus v, no? So in u minus v means this is in a u plus I into v. I use the notation is capital letter, u, capital U and a capital V. So in your question u minus v is equal to e power x cos y minus sin y. Suppose in your question is u plus v is equal to the same function e power x into cos y minus of sin y means this is imaginary part is given. U plus v means imaginary part, u minus v means real part. See, u minus v means real part is given. Real part is given. So here left side is 1 plus I into f of z, small f of z. This one I taken as in capital F of z. So where capital F of z is equal to 1 plus I into small f of z. Final answer you replace small f of z. So capital U is equal to u minus of v. Capital V is equal to u plus v. But in your question only u minus v, no? So after that in as usual process, so therefore capital U is equal to e power x cos y minus of sin y. Ux, no, capital Ux. Ux is equal to e power x cos y minus of sin y. Only one term, this is in terms of y treated as a constant, e power x differentiation is e power x. Next one is uy, differentiation with respect to of a y. So e power x cos y differentiation minus of a sin y Sin y differentiation is minus of cos y. Next ux of z comma 0 is equal to e power z. Cos 0 is 1, sin 0 is 1, only e power z. Next one is uy of z comma of a 0 is equal to e power of z. Again sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1, but minus no minus of 1. So answer is e power of z. And the formula, that formula is f of z is equal to, here you mentioned that capital letter notation. Y means I converted in terms of all, means f of capital letter, no, f of z is equal to integral of ux of z comma 0 dz minus of I into integral of uy of z comma 0 dz plus c. ux of z comma 0 is e power z, here minus e power z. So integral of e power z dz minus of I into uy is minus, so minus into minus plus e power z into dz plus c. See, in first question u part is given, means only existing ux term, imaginary part is exist for vx term. Here in both of them we exist, no, based on question sometimes this 0 or this 0 or both of them exist. So e power of 1 plus I e power z dz plus c. So 1 plus I e power z is e power z plus c. So this value is capital F of z. So capital F of z is equal to, capital F of z is equal to 1 plus I e power z plus c. But in your question is find the analytic function for f of z. So what is in your capital F of z? 1 plus I f of z. No, this is replaced by 1 plus I into f of z. C equal to 1 plus I e power z plus c. So you find the f of z. No, f of z is equal to divide 1 plus I. So e power z plus c divided by f 1 plus of I. Or f of z is equal to e power z plus c1, where c1 is equal to c divided by 1 plus of I. So in direct question means you find in easy method, but u plus v, u minus v or 2u plus v means based on your question you rewrite that f of z, multiplication or addition or subtraction.